And welcome everybody to another episode of One True Theory, where today we're going to be a little unorthodox again, kind of like with the Steven Universe is Not Ruined video. This one is going to be another one that's just off the cuff. I haven't scripted anything, I'm just recording some audio based off of the news I've heard recently from the NYCC, the New York Comic Con, about RWBY Season 6, or Volume 6. And based on the information that I've gotten, I believe I can sum up a pretty realistic plot about RWBY Volume 6 and some background info that we necessarily didn't get any access to earlier on in the series, when, maybe we could have. So, according to the New York Comic Con, according to the panel that was done, according to the little preview clip that we were shown, apparently our group, which consists of Team RWBY and Team Ranger, are heading to a place called Argus. They're boarding a train in order to head to a place called Argus that's in Mistral. It's going to be the first major leg of their journey. Now, many other people have already put out this comparison, but Argus sounds an awful lot like Argos, which is a very popular city in Greece. It's a very historical city. It was also quite possibly the central point for the Mycenaean Empire, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, which you may know was run by King Agamemnon. Agamemnon. Played so much Age of Mythology and still I just can't say that name correctly, but you get what I mean. King Agamemnon was popular because he was the king who led Greece against Troy in the Trojan War. A popular hero in the Trojan War was none other than Achilles. He was one of the main reasons why the Greeks were so feared, because he was basically known as invincible. He is also the inspiration for our favorite badass metal manipulating warrior, Pyrrha. So with this information, it leads me to believe that we are going to get a very in-depth look in Pyrrha's backstory, and we're going to learn a lot about Pyrrha that we didn't get to learn while she was still physically alive in RWBY. Following this up, I believe RWBY Volume 6 is going to have a heavy focus on 4 characters in particular. Ruby, A of all, because she's the main character. Jean, because Pyrrha was very significant in Jean's story. And Yang and Blake, because they have the biggest emotional barrier to overcome in the course of this volume. But today, I think we're just going to focus on those first 2 characters and their struggles. The reason why I think Ruby and Jean are going to be 2 primary players in this volume is because we're obviously going to Argus, and Argus is most likely Pyrrha's hometown, where she came from. We knew she came from Mistral. They're still in Mistral. This is probably where she's from. Another reason why the Pyrrha impact is going to be a big plot point in this season is because Pyrrha's family doesn't know that she's dead. No one could have contacted them because the CCT towers are still down, and hand-delivered mail is very unreliable in the RWBY universe. Which means as far as Pyrrha's family knows, Pyrrha's still alive and doing well. She's just busy doing something. So I think the first episode is them, of course, trying to get to Argus, along with, all the other plot points that gotta happen, Adam Taurus and whatever. And then at the end of the first episode, once they reach Argus, is when somebody is going to notice Jean's equipment, and it's going to notice that Jean's equipment has Pyrrha's symbol on it. Symbol of the Arcos family, probably. Did I just say symbol of the Arcos family? Jesus, the shipper in me. The symbol of the Nikos family, probably. And then we're going to spend at least a few episodes here in Argus learning about Pyrrha, learning about her backstory, and having Jean and RWBY overcome the emotional trauma that came with losing Pyrrha. And as for a more in-depth feel about what I think is going to happen, I think we're going to learn a few things. 1, we're going to learn that Pyrrha comes from a warrior family, and they very much value strength over anything else. 2, we're going to learn that Pyrrha was arranged to be with somebody else in Mistral, but found coming to Beacon as a way of escaping that. 3rd, Jean's probably going to get into a fight with this person that Pyrrha was arranged to be with, because they're going to have some conflict of understanding of who Pyrrha was. / they're going to really blame Jean for not being able to save Pyrrha and not sticking by Pyrrha. And 4th, I think RWBY is going to be the one that helps Jean get out of this situation by performing in some sort of combat to fight for his freedom. So, to summarize, they're going to get to Argus. Pyrrha's family, probably her mother, is going to see the Nikos family symbol on his shield and wonder where Pyrrha is. Ruby and Jean are going to have to explain that Pyrrha is dead. People are going to really blame Jean, and Jean's going to get into some sort of altercation that's going to get him put away. Ruby's going to perform in some sort of combat in order to free Jean, and then the rest of the season will continue. I don't imagine we're going to be spending the whole season in Argus, but I think the first half, at least the first 7 episodes. But those are just my thoughts. Be sure to like this video if you appreciated what I had to say. Be sure to leave a comment if you have some thoughts of your own. And be sure to subscribe to Party God Douglas Productions for more content. Because remember, every video is a party, and you're always invited to the next one. Thank you, and have a good night.